So Donald Trump is now the presumptive nominee, according to his own party, and no one saw it coming.
The race is not over, and Donald Trump is not going to be the nominee of this party.
I will support the Republican nominee. I don't think that's going to be Donald Trump.
I believe that Donald Trump will not be the nominee.
He's not going to be the nominee. He's not a serious candidate. He's an entertainer.
What I am firmly convinced of is that Donald Trump will not be our nominee.
Yeah, Donald Trump's not going to be the Republican nominee.
And Donald Trump is not going to be the Republican nominee.
Guess what?
He's the Republican nominee, according to the Republican Party this morning, and Donald Trump is with us now on the phone. Mr. Trump, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Were you surprised that Ted Cruz dropped out of the race last night?
I was surprised. I did not expect it. I started hearing rumors in the afternoon, but in the end, look, he was a very tough competitor. He fought very hard, and it was a tough decision for him to make. I think he did the right thing for himself and for the party, but it was a little bit of a surprise to me, yes.
Have you reached out to call him? Has he called you?
I haven't yet. He hasn't, but I would certainly expect to be talking to Ted.
Do you really think, Mr. Trump, that he can put aside all of the things you've said about him and he's said about you and support you?
I really don't know, and that goes for other people, too. I don't know, and, you know, I hope so. It would be nice in Ted's case. In other cases, I don't care. In Ted's case, it would be nice. We had a very good relationship, as you know, for quite a long time. In fact, people were a little bit surprised by it.
Right.
And it traveled along, and all of a sudden, you know, I was saying, when is this going to end? And it ended a couple of months ago, and, you know, he fought very hard.
One of the people we know you did speak to is Reince Priebus, the head of the RNC, who has now called you the presumptive nominee of the party. Can you characterize that phone call for me? Did he pledge to you that he will now put the weight of the entire party and all of the assets that it brings with it behind your candidacy?
Yes, he did, and he really, you know, he's doing a very good job. Not an easy job. We started off with 17 people, all very talented people, and, you know, he was put in a very tough position. I think it's probably about the largest group of people ever. In fact, when I first announced, just before that, there were pundits saying this is the greatest group, one of the most talented groups of people in the history of either party to run for office. I almost said, what am I doing running? But the fact is that he called up last night. We had a great talk. Yeah, he's behind it 100%. The victory in Indiana was amazing because it was far greater than anybody thought, and it was, you know, very conclusive. And I think that really turned a lot of heads. Mr.
Trump, this is a time that you are trying to unify the Republican Party. Yesterday morning, you went on a morning show and suggested that Ted Cruz's father, Rafael Cruz, may have somehow been involved in, of all things, the JFK assassination. I guess my question to you is, why in the world would you do that?
Well, Savannah, I was on a show, and they played a clip of Ted's father, who is very active in the campaign. It's not like he is an inactive person.
Yeah, but there's no evidence of this.
Excuse me. He said, you know, very nasty things about me. And then I just asked about stories that were appearing all over the place, not just in the National Enquirer, about the fact that a picture was taken of him and Lee Harvey Oswald, and they didn't deny that picture. And I just asked, what was that all about? So this was just in response to some, you know, very, very nasty, I mean, honestly, very, very nasty remarks that were made about me.
But, Mr. Trump, I guess what Savannah's getting at here is on the very morning you had this in your grasp and you were seeing the polls indicating that you were going to win this and perhaps go on to become the nominee, why take that opportunity at that moment to go back into the gutter?
Well, because I didn't know I had it in the grasp. I mean, I didn't know I was going to win by such a big margin. I won by a massive margin, and the people of Indiana, I'm so thankful to them. But I had no idea early in the morning that the voting was just starting. The voting booths were practically not even opened when I made this call. It was a call to a show, and they ran a clip of some terrible remarks made by the father about me, and all I did is refer him to these articles that appeared about his picture. And, you know, not such a bad thing.
Just in closing here, in just 10 seconds I have left, are you fully confident, Mr. Trump, that you can unite the Republican Party behind you?
I am confident that I can unite much of it. Some of it I don't want. I mean, there were statements made about me that those people can go away and maybe come back in 8 years after we serve 2 terms. But honestly, there are some people I really don't want. I don't think it's necessary. People will be voting for me. They're not voting for the party, and I think we're going to do really well against Hillary. She is a disaster, and she will be a disastrous president.
Donald Trump, congratulations on a big win in Indiana, Mr. Trump.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.